Ozzy Osbourne is known for shocking the world, but the real surprise is not what he did on stage. It is who he hated off stage. Everyone remembers the wild moment when he bit the head off a bat, but few know about the musicians who truly got under his skin. These were not just rivals, they were people he openly disliked, sometimes even insulted in public. Some names are expected, but others are jaw-dropping. This is not just a list, it is a journey through Ozzy fiery opinions and fierce grudges. You will never guess who made the cut or why. Before we dive into video, please subscribe to our channel. Ozzy Osbourne. Life has been a roller coaster of pain, rebellion, and survival. Born into a poor family in Birmingham, England, he struggled in school due to undiagnosed dyslexia. He could not read or write properly, and this made him feel lost and ashamed as a child. His early years were filled with hardship, and he even spent time in prison for theft before music became his escape. When he joined Black Sabbath, his life changed forever, but fame did not fix everything. Instead, it brought new problems. Ozzy fell deep into drug and alcohol addiction, battling it for most of his career. These addictions caused mental breakdowns, memory loss, and even violent behavior. He was kicked out of his own band at one point. Even in his solo career, he often faced health scares, both physical and mental. Depression and anxiety were constant shadows in his life. Despite all this, Ozzy kept performing, recording, and surprising the world. His life has been filled with darkness, but he always found a way to keep going. These painful struggles shaped the person he became, and they also influenced who he respected, who he worked with, and who he could not stand in the music world. Ozzy Osbourne's name is tied to more controversies than most rock stars could imagine. From the very beginning, he was never afraid to push boundaries. One of his most infamous moments came in 1982 when he bit the head off a live bat during a concert, thinking it was a toy. That single act shocked the world and became a symbol of his wild image. But Ozzy chaos did not stop there. He once urinated on a sacred monument near the Alamo in Texas while wearing his wife's dress, which led to a ban from the city for several years. His drug and alcohol abuse caused many public incidents, including collapsing on stage, slurring in interviews, and even getting arrested for violent behavior. One time, he tried to strangle Sharon Osbourne while under the influence. These controversies were not just headlines, they were real moments that made people question his state of mind. Yet, somehow, he survived them all. His outrageous acts made him both hated and loved, and they built a reputation that no one could ignore. These wild behaviors also played a big part in why Ozzy clashed with other musicians. Many saw him as reckless, while Ozzy saw many of them as fake. Now we talk about 6 names he dislikes the most. Number 1. Bruce Dickinson. One of Ozzy Osbourne's most intense feuds was with Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden. What started as a small rivalry soon exploded into something much bigger. It all happened during Ozzfest 2005, a major music festival where Ozzy and Iron Maiden were both performing. During their shows, Bruce made several comments that did not sit well with Ozzy or his wife Sharon. He criticized Ozzy for using a teleprompter to remember lyrics and called him a has-been in front of fans. Bruce also accused Ozzy of selling out and losing his edge as a real rock performer. Ozzy was deeply offended, but it was Sharon who took action. On the final night of the festival, she organized a sabotage. Iron Maiden's sound system was messed with, and eggs were even thrown to the band while they were on stage. Bruce later called the situation childish and unprofessional, but Ozzy stood by his wife's actions. He said that Bruce had disrespected him publicly and needed to face the consequences. In interviews after the event, Ozzy called Bruce a prick and made it clear he had no respect for him. The feud never fully healed, and fans still remember it as one of metal's biggest rivalries. Number 2. Kanye West. Ozzy Osbourne may be a legend in rock and heavy metal, but that does not mean he is a fan of every superstar in the music world, especially not Kanye West. Even though they belong to completely different genres, Ozzy has made it very clear that he does not like Kanye's attitude. In an interview, Ozzy once said he could not understand why people worshipped Kanye. He said, "I do not get the guy. He walks around like he invented music." This comment showed how much Ozzy disliked Kanye's ego and self-importance. Ozzy has always respected musicians who let their music speak for itself. He believes in being raw, honest, and real, which is why Kanye's behavior never impressed him. Ozzy found Kanye's public rants, constant need for attention, and over-the-top statements very irritating. He felt that Kanye focused more on fame and headlines than on the actual quality of music. Even though Ozzy did not attack Kanye's talent directly, he clearly had no interest in working with or supporting him. For Ozzy, Musicians should have depth and passion, not just a big mouth and flashy style. That is why Kanye West ended up on the list of artists Ozzy Osbourne could not stand. Number 3. The Rolling Stones. It might shock many fans, but Ozzy Osbourne has never been a big fan of the Rolling Stones. While he respects their success and massive influence in music history, he simply does not connect with their sound. In multiple interviews, Ozzy mentioned that he found their music to be dull and repetitive. He once said, "They are legends, no doubt, but they never excited me. It is just not heavy enough." For someone like Ozzy, who built his career on dark, powerful, and aggressive music, the Rolling Stones' bluesy rock felt soft and outdated. Ozzy also felt that the band played it too safe. He believed rock music should be about breaking rules and shaking people to their core. In his view, the Rolling Stones represented the old-school version of rock, more about style than substance. He admired their longevity, but he could not relate to their music emotionally or creatively. Even though there was no personal feud between them, Ozzy simply never vibed with their style. For him, music was meant to create a storm in your mind and heart, and the Rolling Stones never did that for him. That is why, despite their fame, they landed on Ozzy's personal dislike list. Number 4. Justin Bieber. Ozzy Osbourne never held back when it came to criticizing modern pop stars, and Justin Bieber was one of his favorite targets. While Ozzy never had a personal issue with Justin, he openly disliked what Bieber represented in the music industry. In several interviews, Ozzy mocked Bieber's songs, calling them shallow and meaningless. He once joked, "I have taken acid trips that made more sense than his lyrics." That one line made headlines and showed just how little Ozzy thought of Bieber's music. Ozzy came from a world where artists fought hard to be heard. His journey was filled with pain, grit, and rebellion. So, when he saw young stars like Bieber rising to fame through catchy tunes and viral fame, it rubbed him the wrong way. Ozzy believed music should come from struggle and experience, not just good looks and a social media following. He saw Bieber's success as a sign of how the music industry had changed, and not in a good way. Although Bieber never responded to Ozzy's comments, the message was clear. Ozzy had no respect for the pop machine Bieber was part of. In his eyes, it lacked soul, depth, and everything real music should stand for. Number 5. Tony Iommi. It may be hard to believe, but Ozzy Osbourne once had serious problems with his longtime bandmate Tony Iommi, the guitarist of Black Sabbath. Though they created history together and shaped the sound of heavy metal, their relationship hit a dark and painful patch. During the 1980s and 1990s, Ozzy and Tony clashed over control of the band, creative decisions, and even legal rights to the Black Sabbath name. Ozzy felt betrayed when Tony continued the band without him, using the same name and performing songs they had written together. The tension grew so strong that Ozzy took legal action to stop Tony from using the Black Sabbath name. He said in an interview, "It is not about money, it is about respect." Ozzy accused Tony of being controlling and refusing to give credit where it was due. Their friendship was nearly destroyed during this time. For Ozzy, the pain came not just from business disagreements, but from emotional hurt. Tony was once like a brother to him, and seeing that bond fall apart was heartbreaking. Though they later reconciled and performed together again, Ozzy admitted there was a time he truly hated Tony Iommi, not as a person, but as someone who had let ego get in the way. Number 6. Fred Durst. Ozzy Osbourne never hid his dislike for the new metal scene that exploded in the late 1990s and early 2000s, and Fred Durst, the frontman of Limp Bizkit, became one of his main targets. Ozzy believed that bands like Limp Bizkit were more about style and attitude than real musical talent. He once said in an interview, "They are all jumping around in backwards hats, but where is the soul, where is the meaning?" That one statement summed up exactly how he felt about Fred Durst and his band. To Ozzy, Limp Bizkit represented a shift in rock music that he could not support. He saw their songs as angry, but empty, full of noise, but lacking heart. Ozzy grew up in a world where music was a way to survive, to scream out pain and truth. So when he saw Fred Durst becoming famous with songs that felt, in his words, like teenage tantrums, he could not respect it. There was no personal fight between the two, but the dislike was clear. Ozzy felt that artists like Fred were pushing rock music in the wrong direction. In his eyes, it was a fake rebellion, and for someone like Ozzy, nothing was worse than fake. Ozzy Osbourne has lived a life full of chaos, music, and brutally honest opinions. He never pretended to like everyone in the industry, and he never stayed silent when someone crossed the line or simply did not meet his standards. Whether it was old-school legends, pop icons, or new-age rebels, Ozzy judged them all by one thing: authenticity. If he felt someone was fake, full of ego, or had no real connection to music, he made sure the world knew it. These 6 musicians did not just annoy him, they represented everything Ozzy stood against in music. His harsh words may sound offensive to some, but they come from a deep place of love for real, raw music. Ozzy's life has been shaped by suffering, survival, and rebellion. So when he sees artists who, in his eyes, treat music like a trend or a shortcut to fame, it makes sense that he feels anger or disappointment. In the end, Ozzy Osbourne is not just a rock star, he is a symbol of staying true to yourself no matter how loud the world gets. Love him or hate him, his honesty is unforgettable, and so is the list of artists who could never earn his respect.